Hey everyone, my name is Rooster and welcome back to Mechabellum. Today's video is going to be about Mustangs and a way that I like to try and counter them. And it will actually involve steel balls. I've recently changed up my text for them, which I will show to you during this game. And, well, this particular tech bar does do wonders against heavy stang boards. Now, I'll be going for a steel ball and crawler starting pack here. And my specialist will be the Typhoon specialist. I'll be up against Mesim, very strong 201 player, and he will have the speed spec. Looks like we do have a little bit of a steel ball mirror going on here with the arc lights and steel balls from my opponent. He probably is favored here in the early game. I mean, he has the speed specialist, so he'll get to my towers a bit faster, although sometimes that can be a negative thing too. And, well, the main thing is he does have these arc lights, and I still have to buy my chaff clear. What that will be, we basically have to make a choice between Hound or Arclight. Both can be fine, but I think I probably would prefer going Arclight here, just because I think level 1 Hounds into triple Arclight might be somewhat tough to scale in the long term. And it looks like we will be having a crossfire. So my opponent is set up on the left side, I am set up on the right side. I've already created some chaff waves here with the crawlers, and actually it does look like I'll be going for the Hounds instead. I think Hound is better in the long term, so probably that is what I was thinking. They chaff clear a bit better than Arclights once they're skilled up. They don't mind loose formation as much as Arclights. They're better into fangs, they're faster, so the tower pressure is a bit higher. But I think into triple Arclights we might have some trouble. We'll have to see how this goes. Now, all of my steel balls do get pulled towards the middle here, which isn't too bad. We should get some locks, but at the same time, it also means we don't have much tower pressure, and that tower will, well, maybe fall eventually, but the fight might already be over by the time that that happens. So let's see how this goes. Steel balls are trying to get to the Arclights now, but there's still two that are completely safe, and their DPS is honestly rather high in these early rounds. One steel ball trying to make its way over, but it will go down. The Hounds will finally take down the tower, so actually not too bad here. And with one steel ball left alive, maybe, just maybe, this can take down the final Arclight. It will do so. And I think I kind of get away with murder here. I didn't think I would be favored, but the tower debuff comes in late, and that does favor me. Round number 2, we get heavy armor, redeployment, and underground threat. All of these blue cards that are very, very powerful. Heavy armor, one of the best items that you can get when you're a steel ball player, but I decided to go for redeployment here because I am expecting kind of a volatile matchup where both of us are on the line. Redeployment has tons and tons of power in these types of games, and it allows me to reposition the steel balls to try and defend the tower. I also thought to myself, well, the heavy armor is nice, but considering that we're steel ball against steel ball, if I get the locks, honestly, like, that heavy armor shouldn't matter too much. And so instead I'm going to go for the redeployment and that long-term benefit of being able to move stuff around. Could also be on the flanks or from left to right as we do here. And suddenly we are able to retrieve a 200 cost unit and really solidify the left side of the board. Mesim goes for the exact same play but moves the steel balls forward this time, trying to get to the tower a bit quicker from the likes of it. I add a Hound and a Fang to my board. And I also decided to pick up the first attack enhancement. Reason for this is that it allows my Hounds to one-shot the enemy crawlers for now until he takes defense enhancement, but I just thought it'd be worth picking up. Now Mesim does go for a crawler flank on top of things, and yeah, with that speed, 90 meters a second, they do get to the tower pretty quick. Steel balls on the left weren't quite able to get the locks that I wanted, and so it does look like this time around Mesim will be coming out ahead. And a lot of steel balls here do survive. Ideally, I would want these steel balls not to level if possible. But I'm not sure if that's going to be completely possible. Let's have a look. Hovering over them now. Doesn't look to be the case. Okay, so no levels for either of us. That is very nice. And around number 3, we get mass-produced Phoenix. And I decided to pick that up because I thought, well, neither of us has Phoenixes yet. They're one of the best units that you can get for aggro. And the mass-produced variant, honestly, is pretty nice. It's really good in the mirror against normal Phoenixes, because you still have plenty of damage to one-shot enemy Phoenixes. And yeah, this allows me to basically get triple Phoenix if I want to. Instead, looks like I'll go for a double Phoenix play here. Try to get to that tower, use a missile in case he puts a chaff unit there. One Phoenix on the left defensively, and my opponent went for the Elite Mustang card. I also put a Hound here on the left flank to try and defend against those crawlers. We get the debuff immediately. Very nice. And we level up our right tower, which looks to be a good call considering I get flanked by crawlers yet again, this time around on the right side of the board. But with the debuff, the Hounds here that have been leveled should be able to take care of these Mustangs. And if we look at the Steelballs, they also managed to pick up enough experience here to take a level. So very happy with how things are going so far, but Elite Mustang is a scary card. In the long run, these units are very, very potent, as many of you may know. And so already getting them at level 3 really does accelerate kind of their board state. And we'll have to be very careful about how we go about things because, well, I don't run armor on my Hounds, sadly, but what I do run armor on is my Steelballs. Recently, I changed this. We'll have a quick look after this unit reinforcement round on round 4. Saber-tooth, Phantom Ray, Wasp, and Rhino. Phantom Ray here could be an option with the armor enhancement. Misim does go for that. Wasps is a little bit tricky, and I was somewhat worried about Wasp because my opponent has Mustang, but I don't. At the same time, though, I do get access to my Typhoon, so that may be a saving grace. I could still pick the Wasps myself, too, and just put them on the flanks as defense. They'll eventually die once they meet the Mustangs on the main board, but if I'm expecting flanks, which is exactly what's happening, Wasps are really, really good flank defenders. If you're struggling with, like, big flanks, these can be some of the most, or some of the strongest units in the game. And, okay, instead I go for the Saber. I mean, I didn't know this was going to happen, obviously. In hindsight, it would have been good flank defense, but I was kind of expecting him to go for the Wasps. And so instead, I go for the Saber-tooth here. I'm hoping that I can get rid of the Steelballs fast. Saber-tooth into Steelball is a tricky matchup. But if I can get rid of them, then it'll tank very nicely against these Mustangs. So my Steelball tanks, by the way, range, energy absorption, mechanical division, and armor enhancement. Both mechanical division and armor enhancement can be really good against Mustang, because Mustangs aren't the best at clearing crawlers, and of course they really don't like armor enhancement. I decided to jump drive my Phoenixes, one to the left, one on the flank, with a Hound pack in front. I make sure to space these correctly, because the Phoenixes are much faster than the Hounds. I want the Hounds to tank that missile, and hopefully that'll allow us to get into the tower first and grab the debuff. We will. However, looking at things here, seems like my Steelballs have already died. And in the meantime, there's 2 Phantom Flanks coming in. Those will likely get a debuff. These Steelballs somehow even get distracted, avoiding all of my units, and they are the ones to grab the debuff. And though my Saber is still alive, with the 2 Steelballs now locking on, that'll go down pretty quickly. And yeah, there's still 3 packs of Phantoms left, some Mustangs, some Steelballs, some Crawlers, and suddenly I take about 1,000 damage here, going down to 3.1k. Round number 5, and, well, there's an improved firepower control system. Both of us pick it up, but I'm not the one that has that Elite Mustang card. Very scary prospect. Now the range is picked up. We already have 3 packs for the opponent. And what do I want to throw this improved firepower control system on is the question. It is quite good onto something like the Typhoons, but I decide to pivot into Raiden here. And the reason I do this is because Raiden, in my opinion, is of course really, really good against stuff like Steelballs, Sledgehammers, and if I can get rid of those pretty quickly, then I should be in an okay spot. They're also not the worst against Mustang. Of course, they're not good. I mean, Mustangs do have the aerial specialization tech, which is scary, but with something like Fork or Chain, which I'm currently not running, you can contest the Mustangs somewhat. And the idea here was already, okay, if I have the Raidens, the enemy can't have Steelballs. If I can get him to sell out of Steelballs, maybe I can get into Steelballs myself and start working towards a potential armor enhancement pickup. Phoenixes, by the way, have been jump driven. Don't know what the correct verb tenses for that. But back to the flank defense there, dealing with the phantoms. It works pretty well. Raidens are going to try and get rid of the Mustangs as best they can, but they will eventually fall with only a small amount of Mustangs surviving. And with only one Phoenix pack left alive, we will get rid of some phantoms here. But the tower will eventually fall, and that's going to be another round going over to my opponent. Now sending me down to just below 3k hit points. But we've got this set up now. We bought the expensive giants. The unlock cost is gone. And now round 6, we get an orbital bombardment. Both of us pick it up. As famous streamer Time for Miracle would say, bombard is bombard. And in this case, it's pretty good. If I can hit some Mustang packs, I'd be really happy. I think it is probably a bit better for me than for him, although I do have some hounds that could get hit. And of course, if you hit chaff with the bombard, then that is also going to help quite a lot. Redeployment now being put to use yet again for my opponent with the Steelballs and a Mustang on the right side, trying to push into my fortified tower, which is somewhat undefended, I will say. And here you will see me just pick up a whole bunch of crawlers. I go for the range enhancement on Raiden, and I start to just think, okay, well, the chaff clear on my opponent's side is pretty much only Mustangs. They are high level, but still, underground, oh, not underground, but subterranean blitz should be one of the counters available to me to try and kind of slow down these scary units. I also picked up range on the hounds by this point. We've got some levels, so our chaff clear is not the worst. Might have to pick up mech rage at some point here though, because, well, the enemy chaff is also starting to pile up. But yeah, have a look at this. The bombardment there doing great, taking care of many of the Mustang packs. And while the right side is pushing in, it seems to be somewhat even. This level 3 hound pack is really fighting for itself. We even get a barrier there. And as we get the debuff, I think this hound pack might be able to just clean up the remainder of Meesim's army. And yeah, here we go. So a really nice round there, dealing tons of damage. And that has more than equalized the situation as we enter round number 7. Now we were due some more unit reinforcements. So round 4, round 7, the latest possible rounds for the first and second rotation. And it means that these packs are, well, offering a lot of giants, or at least quite a lot of resources. Double fortress available there, picked up for my opponent. And immediately goes for the barrier tech. Now I was a little bit surprised about this. The good thing about barrier fortress is it does prevent missiles from hitting these crawlers immediately at the start of the round. But barrier isn't exactly very useful against Raiden, because while Raiden can only hit 3 separate targets, if it is aiming at 3 separate targets inside of the shield, it will hit the shield with all 3 of its beams. And that means that at level 2, it actually starts getting rid of these shields pretty effectively. I mean, the first shot here will deal, I mean, almost enough, right? Like close to 35k damage on a 40k shield. I decided to go for the Scorpions, mostly because I wanted to sell out of them, and you will see me sell out of it. Opponent is selling out of the Steelballs, as we kind of expected and were hoping. But I was more afraid of him going Scorpion, because Scorpion would prevent me from going into Steelballs. But now that he's gone Fortress, and he's not running Fortress Punch, I think Steelball is looking better and better. Steelballs are actually pretty good into Fortress, as long as the Rocket Punch is not on the bar. And with techs here, I mean, armor, range, energy absorption, even mechanical division, it all looks really good. Scorpions aren't going to do too much, I don't expect. But the left side is looking relatively good. Although I say that, we are still struggling a little bit to take down these fortresses. Even though we get rid of the barriers quick, after that, the fortresses need multiple shots from my Raidens before they go down. But lucky for me, AA hasn't been clicked yet, and so the Raidens are able to tank at least a little bit and get rid of the fortress. That'll save me some hit points, but yeah, left side loses barely, right side loses as well. And that will send me down to sub 2k hit points. But at least now we know what the opponent has gone for, and so we can really commit to this Steelball idea. Round number 8, Incendiary Bomb is available. Could have gone for the intensive as well. Steelball production line, I guess, would have been a great item too for one of the raidens. But I felt like I could get a lot of value out of this Incendiary because I know that I'll probably kill these shields near instantly. And if I can do so, I can burn at least 2 high-level Stang packs. And yeah, have a look at that. Now the AA has been picked up. Opponents realizing that I'm relying on the raidens quite a bit. But we also managed to get a tech on the bar now with Steelball armor picked up and Elite recruited. So 2 more Steelball packs. Might even make that 3. I still have 700 left in the bank. And we pick up some of the shields here because I was expecting maybe a return Incendiary bomb, but it isn't meant to be. Opponent instead went for that Steelball production line. And we do pick up a 3rd blue Steelball. And so even though AA is on the bar, if these Steelballs survive and the Mustangs lock onto them, they should stay locked onto them, giving my raidens more uptime. I'm also, again, selling out of the Scorpion drop, so we only have 1 remaining now, facing the 1 Steelball pack on the enemy side. And I do reposition my fire slightly, because ideally I would land it here on the left as well, where there's a 2nd Mustang pack potentially running through. And have a look at this. 1 HP on the barrier there. Rather unfortunate. We did one-shot the one on the right immediately. I thought I would do the same on the left, but sadly not meant to be. And that means about 2 packs of Mustangs there are completely safe. Would have made a massive difference if it did. I should have used a missile, I guess, but I had a short round and I didn't exactly have the time to calculate how much damage I would do. But yeah, you can see the Mustangs now are dishing out a fair amount of damage. Right side, though, is winning for me. And the left side, well, there are very scary Stangs still, level 5 with the improved firepower. But I think we might be able to win this. Still some Steelballs are alive. The Mustangs now start driving through the little bit of fire that I did land. And that means that we will be picking up round number 8. And again, equalizing the hit points. Round number 9. And this time around, the unit drop is pretty quickly showing up, right? We had one on round 7. Then we had 1 round of nothing in round 9. Immediately back are the unit reinforcements. Sledgehammer here. I mean, I'm not too sure. I think it's a bit too much. I already have the Steelballs. I don't want to, like, play into the mid-sized units too much. But Overlord and Farseer both seem pretty good, as they would allow me to get into photon coating, which is a very, very good effect if you are playing something like Hounds and Steelballs. That additional bonus in hit points can be fantastic to help get your units in. Mesim goes for the Overlords as well, but for a different reason here. Can be very good against mid-sized units, and so goes for the Overload immediately. Doesn't run the high explosive tech though. And you will see me picking up the Farseers, and I will be positioning them in such a way that it allows me to click the photon emission. Kind of trying to cover all of the groups of units I have. Redeploy being put to use now. Fortress is being moved back. Kind of interesting. So instead of protecting the crawlers here, trying to prevent that shield from instantly dying to raidens. Or perhaps trying to get away from the Steelballs. And I am just picking up more Steelballs here. Again, elite recruiting. Again, 3 Steelball packs. We get the 2nd tech with the range enhancement. That'll allow us to hopefully get lock-ons on the fortresses quicker. And that'll allow the raidens to be freed up. For now, I am keeping the Scorpion because it actually did pretty well last round. So I didn't feel like selling it. Typhoon here could probably be sold, but it's also doing kind of fine. And yeah, okay, right side is looking good. Left side is a little bit more even. But the Raidens are pretty safe from the looks of it, although I will say that. I mean, have a look at how quickly those hit points disappear when this level 5 Mustang pack, and what is that? Is the level 6 pack in there as well? I feel like there's a level 6 pack with improved at this point. Completely melting my air units, but the right side, that Overlord, unable to hit what it is meant to hit, and this level 3 Steelball, I mean, it blocks 180 damage. That doesn't leave much for a pack of Mustangs that deals 200 per attack. And so we will be winning. And it seems like a small amount of units, but with the Scorpion and the Farseer in there, suddenly Misum is down to 764 hit points. Amplifying Core shows up. Great item. Especially for something like a Raiden, so I do expect me to pick that up. Could go for the Advanced Missile Device spec as well, but I already break the shields instantly anyway, so no real point in picking that, and we do go for the Amp Core on the Raiden. And now it is time to go for that Photon coating that we did set up. Just trying to get more effective hit points on the board, trying to make it harder for these Overlords to kill my Steelballs if they would happen to connect. And speaking of Overlords, another one is picked up, and now the range enhancement is available as well for Misum. Immediate loans from the both of us. The temp range is important. Usually want to pick that up at like starting round 7 as a rule of thumb. And what do we want to sell? Okay, I do sell my Scorpion this time around. The Steelballs are gone, so it doesn't really have anything to shoot at. It's low level, doesn't have techs, so better to just retrieve those 300 resources. And again, we are going to be elite recruiting Steelballs, because my opponent isn't really giving me a reason not to do so, right? Overlords are good against Steelballs, but at the same time, they can miss. They're not great against Crawlers, the high explosive isn't available, and the Steelballs just are really good against, well, both the Mustangs and the Fortresses. And if I just buy enough of them, I don't think these Overlords will be able to take care of every single pack. It also sets up for the Mechanical Division. Having the Photon is nice for that as well, preventing any EMP source from stopping the Mechanical Division from working. And the right side is getting in, but the left side, have a look. Yeah, my Raidens are going down, and that's actually a pretty significant portion of my anti-air. I still have a Farseer on the right side, but the Overlords are stalling for quite a bit. That tower is leveled, it will eventually go down, but I only have one Farseer left. And with this many Mustangs and 3 Overlords remaining, the question is, will this level 1 Farseer be able to get rid of everything? My tower goes down, and from the looks of it, yeah, that won't be enough. Even it's the case that 3 Overlords survive, and suddenly I'm sitting down at 474 hit points. Now, round number 11, and we get a 4th rotation of free units, with Wasps being available in this one as well. A little bit scary for me. I do have Farseer, so maybe it's not that scary. And I decided to go for the Marksman here instead. 3 level 5 Marksman. So very powerful, and I immediately tech them with the aerial specialization. It'll help out with the Overlords, because again, my anti-air wasn't fantastic. And this will give me a little bit more resilience. Orbital bombardment is back as well. I do go for the shields. Finally, we click Mech Division. We also pair that up with the Subterranean Blitz on the Crawlers, which means all of the Crawlers that will get spawned from the Steelball packs, which will be 20 Crawlers per Steelball pack, will also have the Subterranean Blitz tech. And we just pick up more Crawlers, and I think maybe a few Steelballs. Now, it seems to just be Crawlers. I also redeploy my Raiden onto the right side of the board. Reason for that is the left side seemed to get overpowered a little, and I wanted this Raiden to survive as long as possible and not get overwhelmed by these high-level stanks. I mean, look at this. Level 7 with Amp Core. Level 8 with improved firepower. I don't think we have to question what the strong side is. But yeah, look at this. Double Abyss with Disintegration. This deck has been changed a whole bunch. It now fires at the start. It has a little bit of a wind up, so it hits after like 7 seconds, I think. And shaves off 20% of current HP, whilst also slowing for 5 seconds. The one thing is, as cool as it looks, it gets blocked by shields. So you can see the left side here, some of the Steelballs did get hit, but everything that was underneath the shield, and of course the air units, did not get hit. And yeah, with the level 5 Marksman locking on almost instantly, that damage is something else. Right side now pushing in, that Raiden completely safe. The Mustangs all but dead. And yeah, with the Marksman now locking on, you can see the disintegration there. Shaves off 20% current hit points, but that's really not too much. And with this many units left alive, we do manage to clutch up and take the win on round 11. Quite a fun one. I haven't gotten to play mass Steelball in this fashion in a while. Usually a opponents will have raidens or scorpions, which were offered, but the opponent didn't go for it. And once we identified that, I could actually like start investing, right? And this feels so good when it works. You've got that range to deal with the the fortresses. We've got the armor and the mech div to create crawlers to annoy the Mustangs, to have the armor to annoy the Mustangs, and yeah, it worked out really well. The raidens held their ground for a bit. Eventually, we had to add these Marksmen from the drop, but yeah, I mean, look at how many crawlers I have. So many packs, and then that doesn't even, you know, count the 20 per Steelball pack that will get spawned. Really, really cool board. Enjoyed this one. If you did too, please leave a thumbs up. Let me know down below what you think. Do you struggle countering Mustangs? This is, by the way, not the only way to counter them, but it can sometimes be. Armor is a tool to deal with Mustangs, aside from something like fire. Vulcans can work too. Let me know what you think down below. If you want to stay up to date with my latest content, please consider subscribing. If you want to see me play live, check me out on Twitch. And with that being said, take care, guys, and see you in the next video. Bye-bye.